Hi, Professor Sills here, and I want to welcome you to meteorology and welcome you to my evening office. This is my Dunkin' Donuts that I'm often in, and you've got a poster right behind me just for proof. This is West Palm Beach. It's kind of warm and humid, just like it may be up where you are right now in New Jersey. The difference is that we're going to stay warm and humid for about the next 90 days, and you're about to get a lot cooler. Anyway, I want to welcome you to the course, and I want to tell you that you're going to learn a lot. You're going to work a bit, and I trust that you're going to get a lot out of this. We're entering into a very active period in the tropical cyclone season. So one of the things that we are going to focus on in the first part of the semester is tropical cyclones. And what I'd encourage you to do is get into the Unit 1 folder and read what is in there very carefully. It details for you what my focus is going to be. Really, if you just do the assignments and you check my work against yours and you ask me questions as you come along with the material, you'll do just fine. There are 3 exams, and I based the majority of your grade on those 3 exams, including the final. And again, if you do the work, you'll do fine. Now, you will need 2 resources. The first one you see here is Meteorology Today. Happens to be an Amazon page I brought it up on. It's Donald Aaron's 9th edition. Good book, very readable, very easy to understand, and I recommend you get it right away. I'm not suggesting a particular vendor to you. Certainly feel free to go to the college bookstore and see if they have it. That would be my first choice. Okay, the second thing you're going to need is you're going to need a manual, and you're going to need it very soon, because we're going to go into this in the early part of the semester, quite appropriately, called Exploring Tropical Cyclones. I've got this in writing, and I'm telling you now verbally, you need the first edition, not the second edition, the first edition. It's from back around 2001 or 2002. Again, there's an Amazon page here. I've given you the link in the Unit 1 folder in the first posting, so you can take a look for it. You absolutely need the first edition. Do not buy a used copy unless it does come with a CD. There is a CD you're going to need, and you are going to need to follow some unique instructions in order to get that installed on your computer. Anybody with Windows Vista or Windows 7, the software was never really meant to run on those machines, yet it does if you follow the special instructions that I'm giving you. If it wasn't such a great piece of software and such a valuable learning tool, I wouldn't worry about it. But it is, so do it. Okay, what I want to do is I just want to take a minute out and share with you a couple of resources that I look at, and I want to introduce them to you and suggest that you take a look at them. Oh, by the way, one other thing, when it comes to the manual and the book, when you're reading scientific material, you don't read it like a novel. Don't read it like a novel. Read it with a pen and paper in hand. Why? Because what's going to happen is this. You're going to read the material, you're going to take notes on what you believe to be important, which is going to force your brain to process the information actually in a couple of different ways. It's going through your eyes, it's actually being processed as you write it and you're looking at it again, and if you want to really carry it to an extreme, read it out loud to yourself. Hear the words, because that'll add one more sense that'll bring it all into your brain. It's not that memorization is very important. Comprehension is far more important. This will help you with comprehension. Take it for what it's worth. I found it to be a very valuable tip. Okay, websites. The National Weather Service has a page which is www.nws, National Weather Service, .noaa, NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.gov. This page, and gov is government, G-O-V, allows you to click on an area and you can actually see your local forecast. This is updated several times a day. You will also find updates on ongoing tropical events. This will bring you over to the National Hurricane Center. So that would be a really good place to start to look at things, and don't just look at the forecast, read what they're telling you about it, read their analysis of what's going on. All right, National Hurricane Center, which is www.nhc-nationalhurricanecenter.noaa.gov. The National Hurricane Center is a great resource. If you click on a current storm at the moment, Katia, which is a strong tropical storm, very well may be something that will affect New Jersey. It's a little early to tell yet. You click on it and it will bring up the track. It'll bring up wind probabilities here and where the winds are going to be happening, and really interesting stuff. I'm just noticing as I bring this up, it's not often that you see this. You've got Katia coming in from here, and you've got Lee over here. Really, that's quite impressive. Okay, that's the National Hurricane Center. Now, two others real quick. This is the Weather Underground, W Underground, and I want to, and that's wunderground.com. I want to invite you and encourage you to take a look at the Wonder Blogs. I think Jeff Masters is a very sharp guy. I think there's a lot you can learn by reading his summaries, and the summaries do appear periodically. I'm noticing that there was one posted where you can see when I'm doing this. I'm doing it about 9:30 at night on September 3rd, and this one came in about 15 minutes ago. He does them maybe once a day. So that would be pretty interesting, and I'm going to read it myself when I get done with you. All right. Lastly, Weather Bell, and this is Joe Bastardi. He's and Joe DeLeo. They're legends in weather forecasting industry. They have developed their own private service. They charge for it, but this page is free, and this page is interactive. It's really interesting. You can actually turn the radar into a loop by simply clicking right where you saw me, and you begin to get the movement on the radar map. That alone is interesting, and there's a zoom factor that you can do here. But one of the things I found pretty useful is forecast model tracks under hurricanes. I'm going to click it, and what it's going to do is make the storm tracks active for both storm systems. Lee, which is here at the moment, and you can probably see, and if you go to weatherbell.com, that's weatherBell.com, the tracks generally bring it north and eastward towards New Jersey, and not obviously as a tropical storm, but a big rainmaker, and it could be a big rainmaker by mid to late week. If its rain shield moves into New Jersey, that's obviously not good news given what Irene did and what rains New Jersey has received earlier in August. You also have the storm track of Katia, and a lot of the computer models are swinging it out to sea. Let me scroll this over so you can see it more thoroughly. A lot of them are taking it and having it make a big loop, but some of them aren't. You've got one right here which stops here because it runs out of time on September 9, but if you extend it and it doesn't curve, that would bring it in towards New York. You've got one which brings it right in towards the Carolinas, and time will tell. Time will tell whether it follows this path out to sea and just becomes what we call a fish storm, and you end up with a lot of good waves on the Jersey Shore and some riptides, or whether it actually does slam into New Jersey and it becomes a pretty big problem. All right, well, that will do it. You will hear me doing briefings myself from time to time, but my major focus here is to introduce you to the course. It will be fast-paced. Be prepared to put the time in that you need to put in. You're not going to campus. You're not going to have to be on campus at all except for the final exam. And you heard that first here. That is school policy. But since you're at home and since you have the computer, I'm going to be loading you up with all kinds of great info that I do want you to avail yourself of. So Professor Alan Sills signing out. You have a great night, or if you're seeing this in the morning or afternoon, you have a great morning or afternoon. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. All right, do that through the Blackboard system and use the mail system within there. I'm generally in about once a day on the system.